Get ready, Jamaica. A powerful move of God is coming on Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. It's Heal the Family, Heal the Nation, the 20th annual gathering and 6th National Day of Prayer. Join us at the Power Faith Ministries International Headquarters right here in Portmore, St. Catherine from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come and experience a full day of praise, worship, powerful prayers, and the undiluted Word of God. Be inspired by Genesis 50, Joseph's story of forgiveness, love, and restoration, and let God do the same in your family.
Love 101 will be on location to bring you live links throughout the day, beginning at 9 a.m. The annual National Day of Prayer, presented by the Power of Faith Ministries International, will be held at the Power of Faith Ministries in Portmore, led by Bishop Delford Davis. The links will be live on Love 101, the family station.
No time for nigga riding.
Book a virtual appointment with a representative using Sagicor eConnect to discuss your life insurance or Sagicor Lifestyle Approved Retirement Scheme. The time by Sagicor eConnect is
7 a.m. and it's now time for the Morning Watch with the Reverend Dr. Dylan Tousaint.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM. Welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM and best wishes for the new year. I'm your host, Dylan Tousaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, should churches accept the $75 million post-Melissa allocation from the government? And in the second watch, whether the tensions between Venezuela and the USA. For our social media question, we ask, should churches accept the government funds for post-hurricane recovery? Why or why not? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel. And also on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125, using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
All right, today's I quote says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. This one is from Galatians 6 verse 2.
Yeah, good morning, Jokal.
Good morning.
I haven't seen you since last year.
Literally.
How was the Christmas, man?
Excellent.
Great,
Excellent.
great. And best wishes for 2026.
Same to you.
Well, in the words of our producer, in regards to the quote, we are called to show practical care and compassion for one another, especially in times of hardship, because supporting each other's burdens is a living expression of Christ's love in action. Yeah. The first watch after this break.
Ready, Jamaica. A powerful move of God is coming on Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. It's Heal the Family, Heal the Nation, the 20th annual gathering and 6th National Day of Prayer. Join us at the Power Faith Ministries International Headquarters right here in Portmore, St. Catherine from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come and experience a full day of praise, worship, powerful prayers, and the undiluted Word of God. Be inspired by Genesis 50, Joseph's story of forgiveness, love, and restoration. And let God do the same in your family. Christians from every denomination, every walk of life, coming together as one to heal, forgive, and love as Christ loves us. Don't miss it. Mark your calendar. January 7th, 2026, 7 a.m. at PFMI HQ. It's Heal the Family, Heal the Nation. Visit pfmfamily.org or call 876-988-7638.
Mama work hard, for real. She do the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, you know. I further my education and I make mama proud.
Save so you can make the part, travel far, graduate like a star.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Eternal Father. Right now, our brothers and sisters in Western Jamaica are hurting. Homes have been destroyed. Families are struggling to start again after Hurricane Melissa.
Love 101 FM, the family station, is calling on you to join hearts and hands in love in action.
You can make a difference today by donating cash or kind to help rebuild lives.
We're collecting non-perishable food items,
Bottled water,
baby supplies,
hygiene products,
toiletries,
cleaning supplies,
bedding, tarpaulins, and small household items.
Drop off your donations of cash and kind at Love 101 FM or participating partner churches island-wide.
Every can, every package, every dollar helps bring hope to the hurting. Together, we are Love in Action. Love 101 FM,
the family station.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Tousaint. Now, according to media reports, the government has allocated $75 million to assist churches with post-hurricane recovery following Hurricane Melissa. The news of the reported allocation has sparked much public debate and discourse, with strong arguments on both sides of the fence. Well, to explore this issue, we are joined by Deacon Peter Espute, Dean of Studies at the St. Michael's Seminary and College, as well as the Reverend Dr. Elaine McCarthy Nunes, past chairperson of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches. Good morning to you both and best wishes for the new year.
Morning, Brother.
Yes.
Morning.
Great, good to have you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just to ensure that we are on the right page, what really is your understanding of the reported allocation re the churches post Melissa in terms of what and why? Beginning with you, Dr. McCarthy Nunes.
Yes, good morning again to the listeners.
Yes.
For me, I think that it's a situation where the government has recognized that a number of churches across the island have been seriously affected, and that help is needed at this time in terms of restoration of these buildings. It's a Category 5 we have never experienced before. And so a number of churches were really, really damaged, and the damage was beyond basically their ability to really immediately just get up and get going. So I think that this allocation will help to assist in the rebuilding process. It won't be able to help completely because it's so many churches that were affected, but it will help with the rebuilding process for churches.
And
so I think it's a good move.
Yeah, and then before I go to Deacon Espute, your understanding of it is in regards to the church buildings. Am I correct, or is it just the church helping to build in terms of homes and community centers, etc.? Dr. McCarthy?
Did you hear me?
Yes, I didn't hear you a while ago. Could you repeat that? Just trying to clarify your understanding. Is it the church buildings exclusively?
I think it's reference to the church buildings.
Okay, all right. Deacon Peter Esbute, your understanding of the allocation as reported?
I found the offer to be rather interesting because did anyone ask for help? Was the Prime Minister responding to request? We just don't know what's the origin of this offer.
Mm-hmm.
I know from my own denomination, we have had many churches damaged, and schools and clinics, and we have decided that as a priority, we wish to rebuild our schools first. Not a priority for us to build back the places of worship.
Mm-hmm.
We can worship in the schools. The priority must be the young ones, the children. And so, I don't know if the Prime Minister can tell us that we must rebuild the churches. It would have been nice if there had been some consultation first before you announce $75 million. What would you like? You know, would you like your churches built? Would you like rebuilt? Would you like schools? What about the clinics? Or would you prefer the money to go to the congregations to put roofs over heads and that sort of thing? The government is not known to be strong in the area of consultation. Generally speaking, they tell you what they're going to do, and then you if you like it or not, well, that's your business. So I certainly, my own denomination, I'm not sure how we would respond if the government said, here's some money to rebuild a church. How we would respond to that. We would say, I think we would rather say it should go to rebuild the school. Now, the big controversy is Minister Warmington, or former Minister Warmington, who says that he doesn't think that the church should get any money at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that Mr. Warmington is free to express his opinion. We certainly make our contribution to the society in different ways. I also sit on the Jamaica Council of Churches representing the Catholic Church, and we had a meeting recently. I did not hear anybody in that meeting suggest that the JCC churches were going to make any request for any assistance. I think it's a provocative move by the government. Certainly, the JCC churches and the government have, in the past, not agreed on many matters. If he was trying to pull people's tongues, he certainly did. But I would have rather the government say, we have some money, we'd like to help. How can we help? And let us decide how we might wish to spend the money that we would be allocated, rather than tell us that you must use this to rebuild your church. I don't know if I like the approach.
Okay, all right. We're upon a break, lady and the gentleman. We'll be right back.
Hey, 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 small people
It's me, Auntie Vashti, and I have a brand new story for you. Join me this Monday at 4:30 p.m. on the Small People Show, where little voices make big sounds. This Reading Monday, we're turning the page to a brand new story filled with adventures, lessons, and lots of laughter. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in this and every Monday at 4:30 p.m. with me, Auntie Vashti, only on the family station, Love 101. Tuesday, January 6th, on The Rock, join Pastor Harold Steve Blair and guests Reverend Dr. Clinton Baldwin and Jonathan Bagan for a powerful conversation, diving into a topic that stirs curiosity, fear, excitement, and a whole lot of questions, prophecies, and predictions. Are today's world events signs that we were warned about? Do prophecies inspire hope or raise concern? And what does the Bible have to say about this? Plus, don't miss our special segment, A Piece of My Mind. All this and more on The Rock, Tuesday, January 6th at 10 a.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Brought to you by the National Council on Drug Abuse.
Time is now 7:15 a.m.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Tousaint. And this is the first watch. We're asking, should churches accept the $75 million post-Melissa allocation from the government? In so doing, we have online Reverend Dr. Elaine McCarthy Nunes, past president of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches, and Deacon Peter Espute, Dean of Studies at the St. Michael's Seminary and College. Reverend Dr. McCarthy Nunes, I think I just heard Deacon Peter Espute raising the matter of prior consultation, whether it was done or not. And I think he said that he regarded it as a provocative move by the government. What say you on the matter, Reverend Dr. McCarthy Nunes?
All right. I can't recall also if that decision was really discussed prior, but I think in their judgment, they thought that, okay, based on what is happening, this is something that they can do to assist the churches during this period of recovery that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I'm not aware of any consultation, but I guess it's based on their assessment, hearing what has happened out there, especially in the western part of the island, that quite a number of churches are, a majority of the churches were affected one way or the other. So in their judgment, they thought that, okay, this is something that needs to be done, and hence making the offer. But no discussion with us yet has happened outside of what was announced, because we would then need to have some deep discussions in terms of how this allocation, for instance, would be made, because there are some churches that would have been affected more than others.
Right.
And so for equity to exist, then discussions would have to be made to do the allocations accordingly.
Against that backdrop, Dr. McCarthy Nunes, should the churches accept it?
I think they should, because the church is a part of the society, and they also have been contributing since the whole onslaught of this hurricane. The churches have really gone out there and expended quite a bit in various ways through care packages, materials to help with the rebuilding process for persons who have lost their homes and so on. And so funds are needed at this time because we still have a far way to go.
Yes. Mention was made.
You see, Dylan, why I say it's provocative. If the church takes the money and builds back the sanctuary, and the people in the area have nowhere to live, and the schools are unable to reopen, if people are going to criticize the church and say, look at the church, concerned about itself, we first, church first, building first, and not the people, the people of God.
Sending the wrong message, eh?
And so to say to the churches, here's $75 million to build back the sanctuary, but we're not giving anything for the schools or for the people. That's why I say it's provocative. It's opening the church to criticism that we are more concerned about ourselves and our church buildings than we are about the people.
Which is not the case.
And so I believe that the government has not gone about it the right way. You don't just announce we're going to give you $75 million to build churches. You will say, we have $75 million. How can we best use this to help you? And let us talk about how we can use the $75 million. None of it may go to rebuild a church. It may go to schools, it may go to people's homes, it may go to clinics, it may go to community centers, to places that are shelters, But I just don't like the approach, and I think it's provocative. And it's after the church takes the money, then you will hear how the church is so uncaring.
If I may, Dr. McCarthy, you wanted to comment?
Yes, if I may. I think, though, they might have said that for us to focus on the building of the churches, because within the constituencies within which churches are located, you have members of government who have responsibilities to assist community members as well as schools, because schools also, by extension, is a part of the Ministry of Education, who is supposed to be looking after and assisting with the rebuilding of schools. I know a number of schools fall under churches immediately,
right.
But still, I think maybe they're doing it from the perspective that within the constituency, help and assistance is being given. And so this is something that is being allocated to the church to help them to get back on their feet again. I know
we have many schools that are not government schools that the government is not responsible for.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm saying that we still have quite a number of church schools that fall under churches.
I'm saying that a number that don't fall under the government.
Right.
So those, I think, from my denomination, we have said that we wish to rebuild the schools before we rebuild the church buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So don't tell me what my priority is.
But Deacon Espiot, how do you respond to those who are saying that, isn't it that the government is just being goodwill as a kind gesture, and we should not approach it from a negative stance? They just want to really help. They're concerned about the fact that the church buildings perhaps have been damaged or destroyed totally. From that angle?
The government, as far as I can see, is being consistent in how it handles matters. It does not consult, and it tells you what you must do. So if they are being kind and nice in telling the church, you must use this money to rebuild your church building and not anything else.
Use the word must, though, Deacon. They're not saying must. It's an allocation. It's an offer. Accept it or reject it.
But you see, and then again, the government is known to favor revivalist churches, for example. We don't know even whether anybody made a request for help, and this is a response to that request. Who might have made this request for help? Certainly, we in the Jamaica Council of Churches, none of our members, we think, has said that they made a request to government. where does this come from? We mustn't be naive and simple.
Right.
Or the government is being so sweet and nice, offering the church money to rebuild its sanctuary.
Right.
This is the modern world, man, and we're big people.
Need to be wise.
If you have money to offer us, come and say, how would you like this to be done? Telling us we are offering you money to rebuild your churches, and we must not think that there's an ulterior motive.
Yes.
Is the government trying to buy off the churches?
well.
Get the churches cooperate and silence.
Too much speculation,
no, Peter. The church won't criticize the government.
No, Peter, too much speculation now. Too much speculation now.
We are modern people, man.
Yeah. Dr. McCarthy, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I personally don't look at it from that perspective. Yes. I see it as an offer that is being made. But as is mentioned, when the time of that allocation has to be made, then dialogue definitely will have to take place, because, as I said, some churches or some church groups have been more affected than others. I don't think it would be narrowed down to the extent whether it is one particular set of church groups.
Hopefully,
that would be served.
Yes, hopefully.
Because in the whole recovery process, in allocations and so on, it's all church groups are considered.
Dr. McCarthy,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I must raise it before the time elapses on us. MP Warmington, as was mentioned earlier, he has reportedly raised the issue of the separation of church and the state. And he also said it's not the duty in his mind of the government to rebuild churches. What's your response to that?
It was recently I heard somebody from the legal fraternity was saying that this whole argument about church and state is not something that is a part of our constitution. And as such, in this case, for instance, where you have this major disaster, it's going to take, and it has been happening already, where the church and the state coming together to help persons who are in need. So this is a prime example that, this whole argument about separation of church and state would not really stand, because both need to assist to help those who are in need at this point in time. And the churches have been going out and helping. And at times through assistance too from the government, even in terms of bringing in the various goods that persons overseas have been spending
Cash and
at a no tax rate, as it were. There has been some collaboration taking place. So
you're saying there's no separation of church and state anyway. That's what you're saying.
No, I wouldn't broad brush it that way, because there are issues or stance that the church would take that necessarily state would not take. But yes. I'm saying that in this instance, the coming together has been exemplified, and we have seen how it has worked to help the people who are in need.
Hearing you loud and clear. All right, Peter Spirit, you have the final word.
Who could disagree if the government said we want to collaborate to help the people? If the government had come and said we have $75 million, we want to talk to the churches about how to spend it, that would have been the kind, out of the kindness of the government's heart, to come to the churches and say, help us spend the $75 million. But to say we are giving this money to the churches for you to build back your sanctuaries is provocative.
As
far as church and state separation is concerned, that's a constitutional matter.
Yes.
As the good doctor has said, we don't have that in our constitution. That's an American issue that you can import into Jamaica if you want. But certainly in a place like the United Kingdom, from which we draw tradition, the head of the kingdom is the head of the church, the Anglican Church. So separation of church and state is not an issue in our constitution. These are American-minded people who are raising this matter.
Yes. All right, so so we should not accept it at all as churches. From your angle, Peter Espiel.
We must say let's talk. You're making this kind offer, but let's go about it the right way and talk about how we can best spend the 75 million. Don't tell us that we must use it to build our churches.
Yes, and of course, I think we also need to have clear guidelines as to how these decisions will be made going forward.
Jamaica has more churches per square mile than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
When we say tell the church, what we need?
All right, got to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting.
So there would have to be some dialogue in terms of the handing over of this fund. So at that point,
time is up on us now.
Hand over to who?
Time is up on us now. Okay, got to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for joining us. Have a safe and productive day.
Blessings, Dylan. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Okay. Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Start your journey with a JN Small Business Loan with small business loans as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million. The time by JN Small Business Loan is
7:30.
Do your share and care. Jamaica rise up everywhere. Connect the arts, acknowledge the pain. Restore the vibes, empower again. The hurricane.
The National Council on Drug Abuse encourages all Jamaicans to care for each other, connect, acknowledge, restore, empower.
No separation, do your share and care. Spread the love, show you're there. From me yard to the street vibe there. Here for the season, we are repair. Do your share and care.
A message from the National Council on Drug Abuse and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Start your day informed, alert, and ahead of the curve. Join us at 6:30 a.m. for the latest breaking news, weather updates, and everything you need to know. Clear, concise, connected. It's your morning news right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. On Mondays, the morning news is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Tousaint. Let's now look at some headlines to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. First of all, classes resume at Petersfield Primary and Infant School. Happy to hear that. The police commissioner says the force must not be complacent despite progress. Senator slams weaponization of data to detract from success in crime management. Also, we see that 6 judges are sworn in. And Trinidad reaffirms support for the U.S. mission to dismantle transnational criminal networks. And Maduros pleads not guilty to drug trafficking charges. Those are some of the major headlines in our newspapers. Coming up next, we'll share some of the feedback from our social media question. Should churches accept government funds for post-hurricane recovery? Why or why not? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
The best kind of insurance is the one you don't have to think about, especially when you have more on your mind. With GK General Insurance, that promise is built in branch, online, or on the app. You get quick support and results you can rely on. Every interaction is designed to help you move life forward. For all the storms you've been through, we're there for you.
Call 888-429-5454 or visit gk-insurance.com. Seamless, simple, certain. One GKGI.
As a contractor, I never work without a plan.
As an electrician, protection is always a priority.
If you're a small business owner or an independent contractor, there's a plan that gives you protection and coverage. Sagicor Pro Shield. Get up to $1 million critical illness coverage and cover up to 80% of your medical costs for as little as $15,510 every 3 months. Get the protection you need with Sagicor Pro Shield. Call 876-936-7784. Conditions apply.
Eternal Father.
Right now, our brothers and sisters in Western Jamaica are hurting. Homes have been destroyed. Families are struggling to start again after Hurricane Melissa.
Love 101 FM, the family station, is calling on you to join hearts and hands in love in action.
You can make a difference today by donating cash or kind to help rebuild lives.
We're collecting non-perishable food items,
Bottled water,
baby supplies,
hygiene products,
toiletries,
cleaning supplies,
bedding, tarpaulins, and small household items.
Drop off your donations of cash and kind at Love 101 FM or participating partner churches island-wide.
Every can, every package, every dollar helps bring hope to the hurting. Together, we are Love in Action. Love 101 FM,
the family station.
Get ready, Jamaica. A powerful move of God is coming on Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. It's Heal the Family, Heal the Nation, the 20th annual gathering and 6th National Day of Prayer. Join us at the Power Faith Ministries International Headquarters right here in Portmore, St. Catherine from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come and experience a full day of praise, worship, powerful prayers, and the undiluted Word of God. Be inspired by Genesis 50, Joseph's story of forgiveness, love, and restoration, and let God do the same in your family.
Love 101 will be on location to bring you live links throughout the day, beginning at 9 a.m. The annual National Day of Prayer, presented by the Power of Faith Ministries International, will be held at the Power of Faith Ministries in Portmore, led by Bishop Delpha Davis. The links will be live on Love 101, the family station.
No time for nigga riding.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Tousaint. Let's now join Jukal for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. Should churches accept government funds for post-hurricane recovery? Why or why not? Jukal.
All right, so we have some responses from our WhatsApp line. The first one comes to us from Shane Official Designs. Let's hear from him.
Good morning to you, the Love 101 family and all the listeners. As it relates to the question, I believe that, I do have to agree that some consultation should have taken place before decision made and so forth. So I would have to agree that it's a bit provocative because people will, in fact, look at the situation and say that there are other areas that would have, needed more urgent attention, but at the same time, the churches were given some kind of preference. For example, the schools in the surrounding areas would have been a good idea to start with, given that the children would have been out of school and stuff like that. I mean, just like the guest said that, they could build back the schools. They could always worship in the school because the schools are out on a weekend, and then we can take time, build back the church. Like I said before, I am all for the churches. I am not against the churches. But at the same time, some prior discussion should have been. But the fact that the decision has already been made, what should happen now is that the churches who are in need of it, then if them decide to take it, then fine. But the churches who don't see the need for it, they can work with the resources they have to rebuild. And that is my opinion on the matter.
All right, thank you, Shane. We have Miss Davis here.
Hi, Draco. Morning. My contribution is a little late, but I hope you catch one straight for me. I heard the Prime Minister says the money is not to build church, the money is to clean up. So are we getting the information wrong? We need to get the information right. The information that I heard was that the money is to be used for clean up purposes. So after you do your clean up, then you can do your reconstruction, and that will take other monies. So I don't understand. I'm kind of confused in the discussion because, as I said, the Prime Minister said the money is to be used for cleaning up purposes.
Very, very good point, Miss Davis. Thank you for that. And thank you, Shane.
Okay, I want to thank those who responded. Interesting comments there. Well, as we segue into the second watch, last Saturday, the Western world woke up to the news that U.S. forces had entered Venezuela, captured President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, who were then being transported to the United States to stand a trial. And yesterday, they were duly arraigned in a federal court in New York and given a March 17 pre-trial date. Well, to discuss these dramatic developments over the weekend, we have online Pastor Silban Carr, pastor of the Abundant Life Church, and Mr. Lloyd B. Smith, CEO of the Western Mirror. Good morning to you both, and best wishes for the new year.
Listeners.
Yes,
good morning, Sir Dylan. Nice to be on your program again, and I wish you and the station all the very best for 2026.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, gentlemen, what are your opening comments, thoughts on the developments in Venezuela and the U.S. over the weekend, beginning with you, Mr. Lloyd B. Smith?
Well, it's a very complex issue, but I would want to start off by saying that two wrongs do not make a right. There's no question that Nicolas Maduro has not been the best of leaders in Venezuela in terms of his various nefarious activities. It is no secret that there's been a great deal of oppression and certain activities that were not in the best interest of the people whom he served, as well as the fact that the country has declined tremendously in terms of economic development and so on. And many Venezuelans have had to flee the country because of various forms of persecution and discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no question that he was not the ideal leader for his country. There is the accusation by the U.S. government that he has been involved in narco-terrorism. That I would perhaps prefer to wait and see what comes out in the court trial, as he has already pleaded not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, what the President Trump did, there were a number of areas where he was wrong and continues to be wrong. And so my final comment at the outset is that two wrongs do not make a right. And so we need to look at this thing as objectively as we can.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor Carr. Your opening thoughts?
It is, as Mr. Smith said, it's complex. However, I believe that some international law was breached by going into a sovereign territory like that and taking away the head of state. And it does set some dangerous precedents for the period, for the region. There's a little contradiction in all of it, because a month ago, I believe, a head of state was given pardon for drug crimes, and the evidence in that was overwhelming, based on what I read. And then by now, you are going into a country to arrest another head of state for the same crime. So it seems to be double standard from the distance
based on what I see and hear. And you see, when you get into another country like that, you can't get into deep waters. Plus, he has said that he's going to run the country until a proper transition government, local Venezuelan are put in place. And I think it's dangerous. Remember Iraq, remember Afghanistan, remember Libya, all of these places. And the irony is that he is the president of peace. That's what he has said.
Mm-hmm.
And then look what is happening. There's a potential war, as a matter of fact, the potential war is being started.
Mm.
And it could have gotten nasty, you know, because if, remember, say Russia and China supports Venezuela. Suppose when they went in, they met Russian forces in there.
Mm.
And then it could get nasty. And what Trump is trying to stop in Ukraine is what is starting in Venezuela. Because Putin invaded Ukraine and now he's negotiating with Ukraine. And you understand, Rev? So looking at it, the water is very murky, it's not very clear. And the thought patterns are not clear. And some wonder whether it was to help the democracy or for the oil. I mean, the signals, mixed signals are there.
Whether it's the oil or the democracy.
Or the democracy, a change of regime change.
Yes, yes. Mr. Lord D. Smith, there are those who argue that the actions by the present president of the United States is not unique, that other presidents have pretty much done the same. And persons have been raising cases like the Noriega in Panama incident under H.W. Bush, and also the War Powers Act. What's your take on that?
Well, inherent in the United States foreign policy from way back when, the United States, whether Democrats or Republicans, whether they want to admit or not, that country has always seen itself as being the superpower that is in charge of the Western Hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, you have what is called the Monroe Doctrine.
Not the Donroe Doctrine.
Well, it is Donald Trump is now, transforming it to suit his own egocentric behavior.
Yes, yes.
But the fact is that when it comes to U.S. foreign policy, let us not fool ourselves.
Mm.
In the very final, there's very little difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Because, as I said, basically they see themselves as the big bully, the big gun, so to speak, no pun intended. And so this is what has evolved. In this case, however, one very fact that stands out very badly for Trump is that he did not consult with Congress, which is part and parcel of how the governance system operates in the United States.
They're saying he's not the first to have not done so.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact is that in this particular case, given the nature of the operation,
Mm-hmm.
he ought to have followed the letter of the law.
Mm-hmm.
And as you had mentioned in your opening remarks, the matter of precedent,
Mm-hmm.
we have to revisit that, because what this does, is it has now taken away the moral authority that the United States has sought to claim in recent times. For example, as the good Reverend pointed out, what has happened in Ukraine, and we know that China now is looking on, because China does have its eyes on Taiwan,
Yes.
to retake it,
Yes.
and Russia still intends and wants to take Ukraine, and we could go on.
Mm-hmm.
So this precedent could now put the United States into a corner where it cannot now morally stand up and say that no other country in the world, no other superpower ought to want to go in and take any country to change the regime. And in this case, Trump made a very irresponsible and reckless statement, I think, when he said that the United States is going to run
the country.
Yes. The fact of the matter, and I think the Reverend pointed out as well, there's no instance in history where the United States has taken over any country, got rid of its leader, have a regime change, and has successfully done so.
Okay.
All those countries descended into anarchy over a period of time, and all kinds of problems developed. So it is not going in a good direction at all, and China has already been flexing its muscles, so has Russia, in terms of demanding that Maduro be released. So it's not over until it's over, and I worry because this geopolitical activity can affect us as a country.
Yes.
The Caribbean is now in a very serious state, and poor CARICOM. CARICOM, I saw, made a very, weak statement that it is reviewing the thing. Clearly, CARICOM is hesitant because, let's face it, what if one day Trump decides to invade one of our Caribbean nations? Remember what happened in Grenada with Maurice Bishop?
Right.
So it's not a very pretty picture we are looking at. And some reins need to be drawn at some point. And one hopes that the Democrats in the House, in the U.S., will do the necessary, to get this thing under some amount of control, because we are dealing with a president who is very impulsive, who does not follow the book of laws, but tends to go his own way. And what struck me, gentlemen, is that if this trend continues, we are now going to see 3 dictators running the world, from Putin and Xi Jinping in China. I don't know where that is going to go.
And North Korea needs to be put in that mix too.
Yes, it could set the stage for World War III eventually.
Interesting. Pastor Carr, what's your response to those who see the recent developments as the lesser of two evils? As you mentioned earlier, Maduro is no saint, but he's a bad actor. So there are those who are saying, maybe the process, the way it was done, the modus operandi was not the best, but he needed to be removed for the sake of the Venezuelans and others in the region. What's your response to that?
Well, the means doesn't justify the end, Sometimes the end is a good end, but the way how it is done is repulsive and will cause more chaos than anything else, because now you have a power vacuum in Venezuela. Who's going to fill that vacuum? Is America going to go in and help people decide who they should? And based on what was said, it appears that anyone who becomes the president would have to be a strong ally of the president government.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a situation where you have interference in internal affairs of another country. I remember in the 2016 there was suggestion of Russian interference in the U.S. president race, and the Republicans rebuffed it. President Trump rejected it. Yet there was some sort of evidence to show that it was in 2020 there was some sort of cyber interference as well. So everybody rejects interference in a person's internal affairs. Yet still America is doing that now. So I'm saying that they seem to be talking to two sides of their mouth, depending on where the benefits are. Because this president said America first. Yet still, look at the irony. They have just rejected subsidy for health care for millions of America. But yet still they're going to spend billions to go into another country to remove a leader because of drugs. It just does not make common sense. And the people on the ground, the American on the ground, are not going to support this 100%. Some will support it. But those who are, I think, nationalists and those who are MAGA and those who are Trump supporters will. But if you look at this thing very objectively, there's a lot of problem because you're going to a country now, you're going to need money to, more than likely, troops going to have to go there to help the transition. You're going to have to send people on the ground, civilian diplomats and so. And you're going to need troops there. You're going to need that. So,
but they're going for the oil, Pastor. If the argument that oil is the main or one of the main reasons, then the argument is that it's going to benefit America in the long run, perhaps short run.
I mean, America, other countries went to Africa for slaves for economic benefits. It's the same thing. The modern thing is all about capitalism at its highest operating level, and the people are not the primary way. Trump said that the Gulf states are going to go in there and make money for Venezuela. No, not for Venezuela and for America. Not for Venezuelans. I don't care about Venezuelans. I mean, it's a sham. It's a big sham. And you see, people must stop telling lies publicly like that. People are not stupid. How can you approach Putin and ask him to withdraw from Ukraine to stop a war? And you have to do the same thing over the other side of the world. It's a joke. It's not serious. It's a joke.
Yeah. So, Lloyd B. Smith, the role of the United Nations in all of this. Any concerns, criticisms, commendations there?
Well, let's face it. Over these past few years, the United Nations has become a wet squib. It no longer seems to have that level of authority and moral suasion that it once had. And again, it is being ignored. Statements do come from the Secretary General from time to time, but for the most part, ignored. And so we have reached a stage in world politics now where the role and function of the United Nations need to be seriously looked at, and something has to be done because in previous years, the United Nations was like an arbiter. It could be the one that nation who is been abused or in any way offended could go to and seek, some form of redress. That no longer appears to be the case. So in this situation, in this scenario, there is no umpire. There's no international umpire with any clout, which is what the United Nations was formed and was supposed to be coming out of World War II. So that is another major crisis developing.
Yeah, I tell you.
International
I tell you. Yes.
We see the sort of development in many countries now where rightist movements are on the rise, and in most cases the rightist type of leader like a Trump or a Putin or whoever, they tend to be dictatorial.
Yes.
They tend to attract the oligarchy. That, like in the case of Trump, as was mentioned earlier, there's no secret that what he's doing is to enrich his friends, his many friends.
Based on allegations, yes.
Who have an interest in the oil there. And to some extent, that is the essence of all this, what is going on. Because remember that with Chavez and even before Chavez with Perez, Venezuela had taken over the oil industry and literally run out the U.S. And Trump has already said that he wants to recompense those oil magnates that the Venezuelans had disenfranchised. And in the fair analysis, yes, it's all about the oil, and we must not fool ourselves because the essence of capitalism is to enrich the rich. We've seen it with slavery, we have seen it with slavery and with sugar, and we see all the extractions that have been done out of Africa to make Africa poor while the Western civilization gets richer and richer. And
Got to leave it there.
This sort of social injustice that continues in the world, Reverend.
Interesting, gentlemen. We got to leave it there. Totally out of time. Of course, a lot of allegations, speculations. We really don't know. We can't read people's minds. but by their fruit ye shall know them. Eh?
Indeed.
Yes.
Amen.
Thank you,
Amen.
gentlemen, for joining us. Have a safe, productive day.
Thank you. Thank you as well.
Great. Yes. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information or get copies of our program, call the production department at 876-968-9596, 959627. This, of course, has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Yashika Nevers, and our guests. I'm Dylan Tousaint, returning you to Love in the Morning with Joe Caldera.